Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Sitting down today finally to film. I feel like I have not been able to catch a breath the last couple of weeks. We have just been so busy, but I finally have some time to sit down and even made a little schedule of filming. So I'm about to get a whole lot more regular on YouTube. Yay, 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 yay. So I hope you guys are excited. There's not a lot of you here, but the small and mighty crew that we have, there's going to be a lot of fun videos here coming up. So I have a bit of a plan, some content that I've been really excited to film that I have not been able to because I have been pulled in a lot of different directions, but also I do my own thing now. I'm kind of not retiring from freelance makeup, but I'm shifting directions a bit more. So I'm certainly going to be way more focused on just creating content in general and certainly the YouTube digital media side of things rather than just doing makeup. So the world has changed. My trajectory has changed. I'm going to make a whole video about kind of why that is and the journey that's been because it's been wild. But here we are. We have a glass of wine with Chance's face on it. If you guys don't know, Chance was our German Shepherd who passed away this summer. It's a whole other video in itself. So there's a lot I want to talk about here on YouTube. And I feel like I kind of put these walls up where I'm just super critical of myself. And I'm always like overthinking it and want to plan out the video specifically. And it's like, dude, just get it up. Just film it, put it up online, and you guys can see it. So I'm going to stop overanalyzing myself, stop rambling, and let's get to the video. So today I really just wanted to do a chit chat, get ready with me. Let me know in the comments below if there's specific videos you guys want to see. I know I've gotten some requests for alopecia makeup, which I can definitely dive into, and I'm really excited to talk about more. But today I really just have the time to get ready quickly. So I have this new palette from Vive. This is Jamie Genevieve's new makeup brand. I've already gotten it dirty. But it's this really gorgeous kind of leather packaging. Don't mind the little smudge. It's been with me now for a few weeks, so naturally it's already dirty. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous neutral palette, and one of the big things I love about it so much is that it actually folds all the way over. This is such a pro makeup artist making a product because as makeup artists, we're always just flipping it over completely so we can lay it flat on a table and work off of it, rather than something that would stop like this and you couldn't lay down all the way. Anyways, I've been really, really impressed with this palette. There are some really gorgeous neutral tones, some fun pops of color, some gorgeous shimmer shades, and some really fun glittery ones as well. So I'm excited to just play with this today and put this on my eyeballs. I'm also going to do my base makeup as well and kind of just talk with you guys as I go here. Okay, so I've already gone in with my skincare. I'll probably do a whole separate video on that because that's kind of a whole thing in itself. But I am going to go in now with some primer. So I have moisture, serum, and everything on already, but I am going to go in with some primer now. So I've been really loving this Tatcha Silk Canvas, but this is the liquid version. There's kind of two different versions. This one I feel is more lightweight than the other one. The other one is kind of like in a tub and it's more of a putty form and you kind of press it into your skin, which I like. But I feel like this is a little bit more gentle on my skin and really gives a good blurring effect. So I just do about a pump and a half of that. Yeah, I've been loving this. For some reason, I think after doing the whole Halloween series, my skin got really agitated. I don't know if it was like the sudden change of wearing a lot of makeup every day to then wearing almost no makeup every day. But something happened and my skin was like, what are you doing? And it's been breaking out quite a bit lately. I've been using a lot of niacinamide, which has been helpful. So I'm just pressing this into the skin a little bit. You can see how red my nose is. I had a little pimple here about a week ago, so that might be why it's so red. Oh man. So how have you guys been doing with COVID? Are you guys hanging in there? Because I feel like I've been more on a mental journey this year, obviously, because of all the circumstances. But definitely more this year than any other year. And I think a lot of that has to do with losing Chance, losing my buddy. He definitely was like my best friend. I'm sure a lot of you guys have dogs, but Chance was like, man, if you knew him, he was like a human and he was just truly one of my best friends. He was so dope. And the fact that he's gone is just so weird. Like, it's so quiet in our home. This was something that we really have to adjust to, and it's been a really tough transition, but, you know, we work for ourselves, and so COVID has been a challenge, and There's been a lot of things this year that have been kind of like weird, icky things. So we're all trying to navigate it the best we can. I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter. I think this is in, shade 2, light. I just like to put this kind of on the high points of my face to add a little extra glow. I'm going to grab this little random sponge. This is a little damp. I did dampen this a tiny bit. You can just see how that adds like a little bit of life back into the face after a primer. But I just add it in like only the high points of my face so that it really just gives a natural glow. I think I'm going to conceal next. I picked up this. I'm so excited about this. It's got fingerprints all over it, but this is the Revolution Conceal and Fix Concealer. This is such a funny story, but I've been looking everywhere for that NARS Soft Matte Concealer, and I can't get my hands on it. I actually ordered it. I placed an order at Namie's online, and I ordered it for a Black Friday thing that they had going with a bunch of other products, and I got the packages and it wasn't in there. Like they just didn't send it. So I just never got it. I called and asked and they were like, oh, you have to talk to the email team, whatever. I didn't have time for that. So I just didn't get it. I didn't pay for it. So they just took it out of my order. But I can't find it anywhere. I called like the Sephora near our house. They didn't carry it. They're like, oh, it's online only. Ulta didn't have it. I just like, I can't. Here's the thing. If you're a makeup artist, I'm sure you can relate, but I cannot stomach the fact of paying full price for something that I normally can get a discount for. You know what I mean? So like if the NARS Soft Matte Concealer is $30, or I think it's around $30, and I can get it for $10 or $15 off with a pro discount of 40%, I'm not going to buy it at full price if I know I can get that discount. The problem is it's sold out everywhere, all the shades I want to get. Long story short, I didn't end up buying it. And so I've been looking for a concealer in a tub like this because I like to take a flat brush and dip in and, you know, like clean up my brows or add this to a spot. And I like working out of a little pot like this. And so I could not find that soft matte concealer for the life of me. I was in Ulta the other day picking up a Christmas present for my sister, and I found this, and this was like $10. And it's exactly the same thing. It even has salicylic acid in it. So this is in the color light beige, and it's just like a huge pot of product. Look how much is in there. It's so much product. So I was really, really excited when I found this and I picked it up. What I've been doing is just like buffing it on. So I actually just dip straight in. Normally, if this was like on a client or whatever, I would depot it, but it's just me. So I just dip my little brush in, and like this pimple I have up here in my head, it's just like really, really dense and thick, but it feels lightweight. I'm actually really impressed with it. The shade is a little bit light for me, but I'll definitely have to pick up a darker shade. But this just like, I'm trying to see if I can do it justice. Here's some redness right here. It just like, it covers so quickly. I'm actually super impressed with this stuff. For $10, I feel like it does exactly what I was looking for it to do. And I just use like a fluffy little brush to diffuse the product, or your finger. I've been really impressed with it, and I love the way that it blends out. It doesn't look dry or cakey on me, and can't beat the price, man. I think I'm gonna go in with this. I've been loving this so much. This is the Your Skin But Better foundation from It Cosmetics. Okay, so this is in the shade 31 Medium Neutral, which I would never guess for myself. I would guess that I'm like a light shade. But this actually, with my self-tan and everything, matches my face pretty well, even though it seems a little dark. But I'm just going to go in with about a pump and a half, maybe 2 pumps. We'll do 2 pumps today. And I'm kind of weird with sponges for foundation. I actually like to do a bigger sponge. So I like to use the e.l.f. sponge compared to this little guy. You can see it's a little bit bigger surface-wise. So I just kind of like to work that product into the sponge and really press it in. And then press it into the skin so it's nice and evenly distributed. And I always start in the center of my face and work outwards because you want the most product placed in the center of your face so that it blends evenly outwards, especially if you have a bald head like me. That's important. All right, so for powder, I'm going to do kind of a combination here. The one I've been really enjoying for underneath my eyes is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD powder. So this is just a mini size, but this is a ton of product. I think I got this in one of the Sephora rewards. I like to just take a big fluffy brush. I kind of rotate between these three. This one's the Charlotte Tilbury powder in Sculpt. And then I also like the Sonia Kashuk small highlighting brush. And also the Cosette 165. This one always dries kind of at a weird angle, but I like it for really precisely powdering under my eyes, so I'll actually use that one today. Even though it's a weird angle, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna look straight up and dust underneath the eye. Same with this one. And I just feel like using a smaller, precise brush really gets in there and kind of presses in the product rather than just like dusting a huge brush over the whole face. And then for the rest of the face, I've been loving my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I bought this ages ago and used to carry it in my professional kit when I was doing more like working on clients and other people. And I repurchased it with the Black Friday sale that they just had. So picked this up again and I've been really loving it. I just take a tiny bit on my little Charlotte Tilbury brush. And this is what I'll use to kind of dust in more larger areas of my face, like my forehead, right over my eyebrows here, and in my little T-zone. Okay, so for powder bronzer, I like to go in with these two bronzers from Fenty. This is Into Sun and Shady Biz is the next kind of shade up here. This one I've totally hit pan on, but you can kind of see the shade difference here. Shady Biz is a little bit deeper, and Into Sun is like the lightest shade that they make. So I like to go in with a flat brush. Any brush you have that's kind of flat like this will be great for sculpting the nose, but this is kind of my favorite technique. So I like to just kind of wiggle a little bit of that product into the brush. And I actually start lower on the nose rather than up here and bring it down. I like to start along the sides so that the least amount of product is going upwards and the most amount of product is focused kind of down here. For me, that's really what I'm looking to do when I'm sculpting my nose, is kind of like narrow this part of it, not necessarily up here because it's already fairly narrow. So I just like to take a little bit of that bronzer. I'll go across the tip here too, and this is actually going to create a little shadow at the base of the nose, so naturally just kind of shortening your nose as well. This is the Makeup Forever 146 straight and wavy brush. You can see it's got more bristles than the first one, so this one's going to be a little bit more dense to kind of pack on that color, whereas this one's going to bend a lot more. So I like to use this on the cheeks because it moves and is a little bit more flexible. So I'm going to use the same color here, Into Sun, to sculpt the cheekbones. See how it's a nice kind of smooth line rather than just a chiseled line, but you could chisel with this as well. And that's really all I'm going to do for contour. I don't really need anything too crazy. Maybe a tiny bit along the jawline. But I'm always really careful, especially not having hair. There's nothing that I can really hide underneath, so I'm kind of out there. If my lines aren't blended on my face, you can see pretty much right away. So I'm just going to grab Shady Biz now and go in with a brush that's a lot more flexible and kind of bendable. This is the 112 from Smith Cosmetics. This is one of my all-time favorite bronzer brushes, so I'm just going to give that deeper product a little bit of a swirl here, and I'm actually going to concentrate this a little bit higher than I did with that contour. We're going kind of up onto the cheeks now, right where the sun would naturally kind of kiss the skin. And that's how we're gonna just diffuse it back onto the head. So for blush, I've been keeping it pretty simple. I've been just really liking this blush that I've had for a while. This is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in Always Cheeky. You can see it is just a gorgeous little peachy blush, and I would say it's more of a satin finish. It's not completely matte, but there's definitely no shimmer or glitter. So I'm just going to go in with my little Sonia Kashuk. This is actually, yeah, a small highlighter brush, but I think this is perfect for a blush that's kind of like a diffused wash of color. So I just like to smile a little bit, and blush placement kind of changes so much. Like if your face was more round, I would suggest going higher up on the face to kind of slim that look. But for me, I have a really kind of oval, oblong shaped face. So I actually like to draw some attention to my cheeks. So I like to just place this right on the apples of the cheek and just blend upwards. And I'm just pressing into the product. I'm not swirling or anything because I don't need too much. But I just find that this gives me a nice kind of natural flush, and then I can diffuse it upwards. I really do like these e.l.f. blushes, I feel like, for the money. I mean, they're what, $3 or $4? For the price that you pay, they last so long and they're really, really good quality. So for highlight, I'm actually going to use just the same exact brush here. And I'm going to go in with Soft and Gentle from MAC. This is just a gorgeous kind of like champagne-y but soft pink highlight. You can just see how it just melts into the finger. I've had this for ages and ages. This was another staple back when I did more freelance makeup. This was always the highlight that I used on my brides because it's so natural and gorgeous and doesn't bring out texture or anything like that. And I just like to take it with the same brush I just used for blush, because when everything kind of mixes together, I feel like it just looks more natural and just melts into the skin rather than just sitting right on top. So I like to dust a healthy amount of this on the tip of my nose just to bring a little bit more light to it, as well as in this little top of the nose between the eyes here. And I'm just going to dust a little bit of this on the tops of the cheekbones. Just give my whole cheek here a nice healthy glow. See how soft and pretty that looks without being like blinding in your face like stripe? I just feel like this is one of the most underrated highlights on the market. I'm going to go back to this Charlotte Tilbury powder. This has been one of my favorite powders lately to just kind of sculpt and carve out the face a little bit. I'm going to take that same sponge that I used for concealer, actually, because it's just a little bit more small and precise. And I'm just going to lightly press that into the powder. So I'm not really even picking up too much product. I'm just working a little bit into the sponge. I'm going to start right at my earlobe and pull just down to the cheek. And that is like baking for beginners. And I don't let it sit here for hours and hours. What I'll do is I'll actually just dust this away almost immediately after placing it down, which is going to give us a nice natural line and not like a line that's hard to blend out with the brush a little later. As you can just see how that's brighter without being crazy dramatic line. Okay, so next up is brows, and I will spare you the 10 minutes that it takes for me to draw them on. No, I'm kidding, it's not full 10 minutes, but it's definitely about 5. So I'll be right back. I just thought I'd tell you what products I'm using and I'll come back with eyebrows. But my favorite pencil that lasts all day long and is totally waterproof, at least on me, is this Nude Sticks Brow Stylus. This is in the shade Ash Brown, and this is what I use to draw on that initial shape. Because I have alopecia and I don't have any hair, I have no shape to work with, so I kind of am guessing every time I draw them on, and this helps me just have like lots of control to draw them on initially. And then I like to go in with these pomades from KVD Vegan Beauty. And I like to alternate between the shades light brown and dark brown. And I'll take my little ABH eyebrow brush and draw little hair strokes on. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to pop back and they'll be finished. Okay, so I've just chucked some brows on really quick, and I'm going to dip in now and grab my Face Atelier Pro 23 brush. This is kind of like a flat concealer brush. And I'm just going to dip into this little concealer here. Start about halfway through, and then I'll just run this right along my little eyebrow. So then I can just take the rest of the brush and pull that forward so that we have a crisp line right underneath that eyebrow. One thing I will definitely be interested to talk more about on this channel is kind of the evolution of my career as a makeup artist. It's something that has been a really interesting journey for me, and Wade and I were actually just talking about this over dinner. And I think it's really interesting because I started out really thinking that like the whole traditional path of a makeup artist would be my route, and that I would be working on like red carpet clients and doing more fashion week and stuff like that, which I'm really fortunate that in my career I was able to do some of that stuff already. But I just think that things are changing, man. Like, it really took coronavirus and COVID hitting this past year for me to really like be forced to stop and examine the kind of work that I was doing and the kind of work I wanted to be doing. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'll probably at some point make like maybe a dedicated video on that if you guys are interested in that and how my work has kind of completely changed in the last year. So I'm sure if you guys follow over on Instagram, you've noticed that change and that I'm pretty much just working on myself now with coronavirus and all of the COVID madness. That's kind of what I've felt more comfortable doing and just personally more interested in doing. I think I was reaching a little bit of a point where I felt my creativity was being a little bit stifled by the work that I was doing. And I was doing, you know, house calls for $200 for a makeover. And, you know, it's just not sustainable. And it definitely kind of took coronavirus happening for me to really realize that there was a lot of other stuff that I enjoyed doing, like this, like making content and talking about informational stuff, giving tips and tricks and teaching, and also doing way more creative makeup. I had a ton of fun this year with the whole Halloween series, and I don't know. So that whole journey has been such an evolution for me from kind of learning on YouTube and then saving up all my money and bartending 3 jobs to get into makeup school and doing that whole path and learning how that whole industry works and how to navigate it, going on to do some really awesome things in my career, and then kind of going backwards and realizing that the content space really is where it makes more sense for me to be. And I have a lot to talk about with alopecia. So yeah, let me know if you guys are interested in more of that kind of content, because I'll probably make it regardless, to be honest. But if you guys are interested in specific things regarding that career change, let me know in the comments, because it's definitely something that will probably be coming up here soon. I'm just going to take a little bit of my Smashbox 24-hour eye primer, just like the tiniest amount. I even then just grabbed probably too much, but I'm just working this into whatever concealer is left on the back of my hand. And this is the way I kind of like blend in a little bit of color to this eye primer, because it's totally clear otherwise. So I'm just slapping this on with my little finger. This is taking forever, but we're going to do some eyeshadow now. I just kind of want to play around today. Like I mentioned, I want to use this little palette from Vive. So I think I'm going to start off and just kind of set the lid with So Shy, which is this like light, almost like a lid, my skin tone eyelid colored shade. So it pretty much just goes on translucent. I think I'm going to go in with Chow now. This is this like gorgeous yellow color right here. So pretty. You can see how pigmented that is. It just like sticks right on the brush. So pretty. I'm gonna pack this. This is just a big fluffy crease brush, but I'm just gonna pack this on the outer corner here and just really press it in. I'm not really diffusing it yet. I don't really have a plan, to be totally honest. I'm just completely winging it here, so you have to bear with me. So now that I've kind of packed that on, I'll use the same brush to kind of just gently diffuse it and blend that out ever so slightly so that it's more of a wash of color all over. I'm just going in now and I'm taking Buff on a little angled brush. This is like a cool little arrowhead shaped brush from Smith, the 256 brush. And I'm just packing this in the outer corner to kind of deepen that shade. Again, I'm just slapping this on. This is not neat or tidy. I'm gonna grab a mixture of Lava Rock and also Delicious. Delicious is definitely more of a warmer brown, and Lava Rock looks really cool, but it's not as cool on the eye as it might seem. So that combination is kind of like the perfect neutral, deeper brown color. So I'm just pressing this right in the outer corner. I think another thing that eventually I want to talk more about is alopecia and my journey with kind of coming to terms with it, both just personally and professionally, because it's kind of been blending in a lot with some of the work that I'm doing now. So that's been an interesting transition, like even further coming to terms with just what it means in my life and how I want to involve it in conversations professionally. Okay, underneath, I think I'm just going to take Lava Rock, which is this cooler brown, and just a touch of Goodnight, which is that black color. So I'm just going to take a mixture of those two and run that just underneath the lower lash line. I have this really gorgeous black glitter from Hip Dot that they just sent me, so I have an idea for how I'm going to make this. like a cool grungy smoky eye. So just bear with me. Cool, this is gonna be a fun look. I haven't done like a truly grungy smoky eye in a minute. And I'm gonna go ahead and pack this black color now onto my lid. So I'm just taking the angle, the side of this brush, which is why I love this brush. It has nice, precise little angled bristles here. So I'm just taking this black shadow and I'm kind of tapping it on top of the liner that I just laid down. So not only is this going to set that liner in place, but it is going to kind of diffuse and blend out that eyeliner. I have to say, with this palette, I'm loving A, these shadows in general, but B, the experience of holding this. I just flip it around and it's like my huge mirror is on the back. I just started doing that and I love this. Okay, so next I'm taking this gorgeous, gorgeous palette that I just got from HipDot. I think my next video here is going to be actually a full brand review of HipDot because they were really sweet to send over this amazing package with all these different eyeshadows, and they welcomed me to their little creator fam. But they sent over these gorgeous palettes, and this artwork is just so stunning. I'm really, really impressed. And in here is kind of this array of glitters. These are just so unbelievably stunning. I am so impressed with these. So I just want to show you how pigmented and gorgeous they are. So this is the black color. You can just see how much is going on there, but I'm really excited to use this. So I think I'm just going to use what I just popped on my finger from this black shade, and I'm just going to pop this straight onto the eyelid, and let's see what happens. I haven't used this before, so I'm not really sure how this glitter is going to perform, but I have a feeling that I will like it. Applying a little bit more precisely than I even wanted it. Kind of clumping up there. Such an interesting texture. It's getting a little crazy now, but I think I'm just gonna use, oh, that got everywhere. I think I'm gonna take a clean brush and just flick this away. Oh, actually works really well. So I'm using this clean brush as an eraser for all that product I placed that I didn't really mean to. Okay, so I'm using less product on this side and it's working way better. So I just added a little too much up here. The craziest formula, I can't explain it. They're not like true gels, but they're not like eyeshadow. Like the fallout is there, but they're really sticking and they're really easy to manipulate. Like I kind of solved that problem pretty easily. So I don't know, I'm very excited about these though. Okay, I think to finish off the eyes here, I'm gonna go in with Glimmer, this gorgeous shade here. This is such a pretty color. It is like a true champagne shade. And I'm gonna pop this in the inner corner just to like brighten up and finish off this look. So I'm just taking a little dense brush here. Yeah, so pretty. And I'm just gonna add some light to the inner corner and blend this upwards so I can kind of fix this eyeshadow look. This was an adventure. All right, so I'm gonna pop on some lashes now. These are the 663 lashes from Salon Perfect, and these are just a gorgeous kind of fluffy lash. You can see how much they turn up. So I like to use these because with my alopecia, sometimes it's really tricky to get lashes to actually like stay up on my face. They kind of just droop down because there's no eyelashes for the falsies to set on. I think in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that glue to dry, I'm gonna pop on some Faux Freckles. I have some natural freckles, but primer and concealer and everything always covers it up. So I like to add these little Faux Freckles. This is from the brand Pseudo Labs. These guys make amazing, amazing faux freckle products. So it's like a little spoolie. And then what you're supposed to do is take the little pick that they send it with. It's cool. I guess I'll use it how I'm supposed to. Sometimes what I do is I just grab a little brush, like a little precise brush, and I'll dip in and I'll just dot on what I want because I don't really care to do a full face of freckles. I just want a couple. But today, for the sake of like what we're doing, I guess I'll just show you. So you're supposed to take this little wand thing and you have this mascara wand, the spoolie, if you will. And then I kind of just close my eyes a little bit and flick against this wand. See how it gives me like tiny little dots on my face? And then you take your finger and you tap it out. And these are actually like water resistant. Not waterproof, but water resistant. And then I like to just dot on a few extras because they're so light and fair. I like my freckles to be a little bit more noticeable. So I'll just do this the way you're supposed to. Sometimes it can look a little much in my opinion, because you have no control over the way that you flick them on. That's my only qualm with doing it that way, but they definitely look natural. I actually have a discount code with these guys. I always forget to say that on Instagram, but I'll link it down below if you're interested in trying these guys out. All right, I'm just gonna pop these lashes on now. With an eye like this that's already so dark, honestly, it doesn't even matter so much where you put them, huh? I think I'm just gonna finish off with a little of this lip oil from Conceal. Okay, you guys, that is it. I hope you liked following along today. It was an adventure with this glitter, but I think it turned out okay. Not sure how it looks in the camera, but this is definitely like a grungier, smoky look than I came into this planning to do, but that's how it goes. I just sat down to create, so here's what we ended up with. I will list all the products I used in the description box down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you guys haven't yet. I'm going to be on here a lot more these days as I start to budget time to really create on YouTube and do this full time. So thanks for following along, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!